everybody, it's Kira here with Polymer Clay TV this week, and today I'm going to highlight a brand new thing that we got in at the shop, and it's our scroll set of plunger cutters. And we are featuring plunger cutters more and more lately because we think that they are super fabulous tools for your polymer clay. So I'm going to show you how to make these two little hanging plaques. And I just want to remind you, don't forget to come on over to polymerclayadventure.com and check out what's going on there. We've got the only online virtual retreat for polymer clay and mixed media arts, and we just released it. It's a lot of fun, and if you get in on it this week, you're going to get a discount. So check it out. That's polymerclayadventure.com. Make sure that you subscribe today to our YouTube channel so that you get weekly fun projects like this, and that you never miss out on the news. And also get on our newsletter, because newsletter subscribers get all kinds of fun treats like coupons when we get in new products. So let's go ahead and get started making this project. It looks like I've got a lot of tools out for today's project, but it's really pretty simple. Just a few different things that you might have lying around or that you might want to try. So I'm going to silk screen some little canvases with Sculpey's new silk screens. So I've got that with the paint. You don't have to use the Sculpey paint, but I'm going to use it. I've got a rolling rod and a texture stamp. I've got one of our new scalloped scroll plunger cutters. These are just little 2x2 canvases that I got at the craft store that have been painted with acrylic paint. This is a new ink out on the market called Memento Luxe, and it's just a large, juicy mixed media ink pad, so we're going to try that. This is Sculpey 3 translucent clay, rolled to a number 3 with some Adirondack ink. I'm going to mix this in and make a color. And then this is some Soufflé by Sculpey in the light tan color that's been rolled to a number 3 also. And then these are some letter stamps. They were for stamping into concrete, so they're hard plastic. They came in strips like this, and I just have some letters here for the project that I want to do. So let me clear this out of the way. Let's do our silk screen, and to do that we're going to take the silk screen, and there's a shiny side, you can see that shining, and a matte side. We're going to put it shiny side down on the canvas and just open the paint. And you can do this on polymer clay, you can do this on paper. It's really a fun and easy technique. So if you get into silk screening, you will find yourself silk screening on everything. So we're just going to wipe the paint through this silk screen, which is basically a stencil, and then peel it off. And then immediately go wash everything, because you don't want the paint to get stuck in the silk. Now we'll set this aside to dry and work on our clay. So here you see that I've got some clay stuff going on. I've got the piece I'm going to use for my actual project. I'm working on 2 at a time, since these are such little pieces of artwork, and I felt inspired to make this type of a project. I'm just going to work on 2 at a time. So this, just going to set that aside, that's next. This is some clay that's rolled to a number 3. This is a texture stamp. I'm going to put this on here and give it a quick roll, firm roll, with my rolling rod, which you can get these at our store. They come in 4 different colors. Just thought those were kind of fun. Okay, so I've got this texture, and I'm doing this because I have 2 already done with the texture punched from the actual texture cutter. And I just wanted to try something different, and I just wanted to show you how versatile these are, because you don't have to just use the texture that came with, that comes in the plunger and feel limited. You can get all kinds of new textures just by rolling a different texture onto your clay. So you can see if you've done a good job, it's going to be stuck in there and you can just push it out with the plunger. And as long as you don't press down on the plunger to get this design in it, you can put any design you want on the clay piece and just use the plunger to assist you in getting it out. So now I've got these pieces, and my intention here is to hang. You'll see when I put it all together, I'm going to be hanging stuff and dangling, so I do need to poke some holes, which I'll do in a second because my hole poker's across the room. And then this is just translucent clay with a little bit of ink on it, and I used a Q-tip to spread it out and let it dry, and a few passes through my pasta machine and this clay will be all one color, and then we're going to stamp it with some words. Remember when you're stamping that you've got to write the word backwards. Okay, let's start stamping. So we're going to take this, ink it up, and just press it into here. L. O. Just pay attention while you're stamping to the direction of your letters and make sure you're getting them in the right place. I'm actually leaning way over to the side and watching as I place those down. L-O-V-E. Okay, so we're going to stamp love for one of them. And then I'm just going to kind of cut this and move this so that I have a little more room to work. And the other one is going to be joy. J. O. Y. Okay, now this ink, Memento Lux, is a pigment ink and it is heat set. It is supposed to be a little bit faster drying, so you get less of the smearing that you would get with other types of ink. So I'm just going to wipe these off on a paper towel so I can put them away. Try to keep things sort of clean, because when you're working with clay, you know, it can pick up particles and it can smear other things that are, if you leave things that are sort of dirty lying around your work table. Now I like this color ink, so I'm actually going to stamp it on these two pieces before baking, just by pouncing it, the whole ink pad right over top of my stamped design. So because that's heat set, when I put this all in the oven, it is going to all set up and be lovely. Just going to turn these into little plaques. By cutting off the excess and straightening out the edges. And now is when you need to make some other decisions too, like with this blue stuff, Do I want to put any Pearl-Ex on it, powdered pigments of any kind, to kind of bring out those designs? What do I want to do? Do I want to maybe stick some heat set stones on here to sparkle them up? Or do I want to wait till afterwards and maybe use paint? Do I want this to be so big? I mean, I was thinking maybe I'll put stones on it, but I think I'm just going to trim it closer to the letters and use paint afterwards. So always keep your scraps. I have a little scrap pile growing off to the left here of my own scraps that I'll use later for something else. And now these need to be baked. So I will be back to show you assembly in a little bit. Once you get everything out of the oven, then you can go to town making it pretty and adding some other things. Like, for example, I'm primarily a jewelry artist, so I've got lots of things like wires and beads lying around, which is why I had made the holes in here initially, so that I could wire up these two pieces. And my intention was that they look kind of like a frame, so I would use one to hang it on the top and then another to add little danglies on the bottom. And I have a trick here that I'm going to use to cover the holes that I ended up not using, so I'm going to show you that. So basically, you've got your two clay pieces, and you can use some lightweight wire, and you'll just need things like your round pliers, your cutters, and your chain nose flat pliers just for kind of pulling on things, and some beads, and just wire up. Make sure you've got two holes at the top for hanging, and maybe a hole at the bottom for some dangles. Your hot glue gun will work great on polymer clay, so just put a generous amount on the back and stick it right onto your canvas, and then hold it there for a minute to make sure everything is adhered. A couple little last details. I've got some gemstones here, and I think they match and they're cute, so I'm going to go ahead and stick those on. These are self-adhesive. And then for this one especially, I had made some extra holes here, and I'm going to show you a fun way to cover them up. So these are little packets of nail gems, and I got these on eBay for like nothing. I think a couple dollars for hundreds of little nail gems. And I've got this glue that's Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to put a little dab of this glue on my Teflon sheet here, so that I can use my Fun Tack, which is that poster putty stuff that's stuck on the end of an unsharpened pencil, to pick up a gem, dip it in this glue, and then set it over those holes. You only need a tiny bit of the super glue, so just put a little dab and then press it on there. And then as you're doing this, you might decide, oops, can't get that one off. You might decide that, you know, you'd like to have some stones in other places too. So while you have the glue puddle still wet, you can just play around. And then when that puddle of glue dries, you can just peel it right off that piece of Teflon. sticking to me instead of the clay. Another detail is that I had used some glitter paint to outline the edges of these little word plaques. So you can just kind of go nuts. Polymer clay works with so many different things in your studio that, you know, just look around you and just start playing. You can just decorate your pieces. Use the polymer clay as a way to make elements like these framey things and the words, and then just go to town picking your little fun crafty things out of your studio and using them to make your piece pretty. I really like pink and orange together, so I'm gonna throw a few pink stones around on the background too while I have this glue out. And these stones are so inexpensive that I just feel like it's like a no-brainer to go ahead and fling them around, because I really like rhinestones. And glitter. So just have fun. Don't forget to check out Polymer Clay Adventure. It's the online virtual retreat for polymer clay. We've got 22 teachers, and it's the first one ever, and everybody's really excited about it. We've got almost 200 people right now joined to take the adventure with us. So it's really exciting, and if you hurry up and get in on it now, you're going to get a discount because it's going on sale for full price next week. So have fun.